Hello and welcome back to this course. In this video, we are still working with the string data type, and in this very video, we are going to be working with string indexing. So in a very simple term, indexing means the ability to access the individual member of a string by a certain number or a certain hierarchy of organization. So when you have a piece of string that is made up of characters, you find out that Python would arrange these characters or will assign a unique number to each and every one of them starting from 0. So the very first member of that string will be assigned the 0 index, and then the rest of the members will be assigned their different indexes accordingly. So for instance, this is a string variable, or let's get one of the variables that we already have up here. So this sentence variable here, so I am going to access it. Okay, so I am going to use a function. So this sentence variable that we have up here, so we can use that, and I am going to access that sentence variable. So if I want to access it here, I can just print and enter this sentence. Okay, so here I have, if we print this, you find out that that particular sentence variable will be echoed on the screen. But if for any reason you want to access the individual letters or characters that are contained in this sentence variable, so the very first character is the T, and the second one is the H, the third one is the E, the fourth one is this empty space, and the rest of them. So now Python assigns a unique number to each and every one of those characters, in the sense that when you want to perform a particular action with each and every one of them, you can access them individually. So that is a simple explanation of what indexing means. So now I'm going to remove this print statement, and I am going to, so on this print statement, I'm going to insert another method here, and it's called the length method. So this length method, what it does is to tell you the number of characters that are contained in a particular string. So I'm going to comment the rest of this out except the sentence character or the sentence variable. So I'm going to comment this out and this out too. So I'm going to comment the rest of the print statement so that it will not affect what we are doing now. And again, I'm going to run this code. Now we are seeing that we have 17 characters in this sentence statement. So we have two items printed on the screen. The first is this instance. Okay, I'm going to comment it out too because I don't need it. So, and I'm going to clear the terminal. So we have 17 characters contained in this sentence variable. So now, if we want to access each and every member of those 17 characters, we can, each of them is assigned to a unique number. And like I said, the first character is assigned to the 0 index. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to move that variable down here so that we can easily work with it. So I'm going to move it down here and paste it. So if I want to access the very first letter here, so what do I do? I'm going to just print, and I'll enter that variable sentence, and I'm going to open two square brackets, and I'm going to pass in 0. So this 0 means that I want to access the 0 index of that particular variable. So let's run, and here we have T. If I want to access the fifth member, well, what do I do? I'm going to just pass in 5, and here we have probably we have two spaces here, or one. Okay, so B is the fourth index. So, and we run, now we have a B, right? So I'm going to clear the terminal now. So if I want to access this particular quotation mark here, we can see that it is almost at the end. So if for instance you have a whole lot of other characters here, and you are looking to access the last member of that character, you will find out that you may not be able to like count it manually. So but at least you know that it is the last member from the back. So now that brings us to another concept, which is negative indexing. So from the left to the right side, Python assigns indexes from 0 to whatever be the number of the last member of that string variable, right? So if we have up to 1,000 string characters here, it will assign from 0 to 1,000. So I'm going to loop over this particular string and I'm going to use something called a for loop. So I'll just write this for I. So this I, it simply means that I'm assigning the variable I to each member of this string variable. So I'm going to pass in for I in, I'll call another function range, and then I'll pass in the length of that variable sentence. So I'm saying that for every item that is in the range from index 0 to whatever last member of that variable, that for each and every one of them, I'm going to write another line of code that says index is equals sentence, and then I'll pass in this I in a square bracket. Then I'm going to print a formatted string that says the index of this is I, comma, the character is the index, that's this index variable that I created. So I'm going to pass it in here and I'm going to save this and run. So now I'm going to add this colon here and then a space bar so that we'll see this properly. So what is really happening here? So I'm going to expand this terminal. So now what we are doing here is that call the len function on this variable before. So we are saying that for every item that is in the range of this part of the length of this sentence, because when we are talking about the range is like an integer, okay? So each and every one of them is going to start from 0. And if I write something like range and enter a particular number, so I'm simply calling all the numbers that are from 0 to 10, right? But 10 will be excluded. So it's basically 0 to 9. So when I say range, the length of this variable, remember we checked the length before and it says 17. So for every item that is in the range of 0 to 17, so it is going to give us all the items that are in between 0 to 17. So all of them will be matched to the individual characters that sits on that range. So here we have that the index 0 has the character T, index 1 has the character H, index 2 has the character E, and all that. Okay, so we can see the rest of them here. Now, the negative indexing. So if you want to access these letters from the back, you can do that. And for that very particular, and for that concept, what you are going to have is that the x is going to be -1, and this character here is going to be -2, and the rest of them -3, and the rest of it. So from the front you start with 0, and from the back you start with -1. So if I want to access the second character, which is this quotation mark here, what I can do is to pass in -2 here, right? And I'm going to clear the terminal and comment out that for loop. So right now I'm going to save and run this. So now we have this quotation mark. So if you are coming from the front, you come from the positive indexing, and if you are coming from the back, you come from the negative indexing. So thank you so much for watching this video. This is it for your string indexing in Python. See you in the next video.